If a fan ever attacks a wrestler, this is probably what's going to happen. If the wrestler doesn't fight back, then security will, and the fan will be ejected from the building and might even receive a life ban from attending WWE shows. Unfortunately, justice doesn't always get served, and Randy Orton knows this well. In 2006, the Viper was in hostile territory when he wrestled at ECW One Night Stand. The fans booed Orton, and it looked like the Viper was enjoying the hate. Randy's attitude changed though when a kid in the audience punched him in the arm. The Apex Predator turned around and stared at the young fan. To the kid's credit, he had a pair, as he just stood there and continued chewing his gum. Probably because he wasn't an adult, Orton didn't do anything, and surprisingly, security didn't take the kid out of the building. This next one is gonna make you mad. CM Punk was wrestling Vince McMahon live on Raw. The straight-edge wrestler was about to hit his boss with the GTS until Ryback interrupted. Thanks to some help from John Cena, the big guy almost took out Punk with a shell shock, but the WWE champion escaped. CM Punk ran into the crowd to get away and stood shoulder to shoulder with the audience. A few fans got a bit too touchy, and Punk ended up punching one of them in the face. The frustrating part is that CM Punk attacked the wrong fan. Look closely, you'll see that a different fan smacks Punk on the back of the head. Of course, CM Punk didn't see who it was, but it's still upsetting that a poor fan got hurt while the guy who actually did it got off scot-free. This one was super disrespectful. In a phenomenal match between two of the best wrestlers of all time, Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin destroyed one another in a 3 Stages of Hell match. The match was brutal and exhausting, but the two athletes put on an amazing show for the fans. Unfortunately, as both men laid lifeless on the mat, someone in the crowd threw a beer that hit Austin directly in the head. Stone Cold's sudden reaction shows just how badly the blow hurt. Triple H even rolled over to check and see if Austin was okay. Had the fan been closer to the ring, security probably would have seen who threw it and taken the individual out of the arena. If you're not mad already, these next few people will make you hate being a wrestling fan. The 2015 Royal Rumble will live in infamy for what happened after the show was over. Probably fueled by anger that Roman Reigns won the Rumble match, WWE fans harassed wrestlers after the show. As Heath Slater was leaving, a fan set up a chair in front of the wrestler's car, preventing Slater from exiting the parking lot. While that was bad enough, some fans actually tried to hurt the WWE wrestlers. The Usos and Naomi were leaving the arena in their rental car when fans with chairs started hitting the vehicle. The Usos noted that security wasn't there, so they had to fight off the attackers themselves. Luckily, as soon as the Usos got out of the vehicle, the fans ran away. Unfortunately though, those fans weren't caught. This incident was just crazy. Days before Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold would face each other in their iconic WrestleMania 14 match, Shawn and his DX partners did a public workout to promote the show. Someone in the crowd must have hated Michaels, because he threw a frickin' battery that hit HBK in the head. Shawn stopped mid-sentence after getting hit and walked out of the ring. Vince McMahon was upset, because in his words,
"You never, ever walk out on your audience."
Typically when we see wrestling fans jump the barricade, it's usually a man, but craziness isn't gender specific. There have been female wrestling fans who have leapt over the guardrail and attempted, or even succeeded, in getting into the ring. Here are several women who jumped the barricade at wrestling shows. In July of 2010, Raw was emanating from Lexington, Kentucky. After the show went off the air, John Cena and Randy Orton had a tag team match against Chris Jericho and Sheamus. The match ended with Cena and Orton hitting both their finishers at the same time and picking up the win. But it was a moment after the show that caught everyone's attention. A teenage girl from the crowd jumped over the barricade and crawled into the ring. She approached John Cena, but security got to her almost immediately and took the girl out of the ring. The female fan tried to resist by wrapping herself around the bottom rope, but the security personnel were able to pull her off. They carried her over the barricade and escorted the girl out of the arena. Thankfully nobody got hurt, and it was pretty funny seeing Randy Orton getting ready to hit the RKO and Cena calming him down. During The Undertaker's Lord of Darkness era in the mid-90s, the Dead Man had some very devoted fans. One of them was from Des Moines, Iowa, and she planned on attacking Paul Bearer, who had betrayed The Undertaker and was going to reveal the Dead Man's secrets. As Bearer was making his way towards the ring, the female Undertaker fan got over the guardrail and attempted to take down the Mortician. WWE must not have had a ton of security at the show, because the camera guy actually had to step in. The whole incident lasted about 15 seconds, and the woman was taken away. Paul Paul Bearer got back on his feet right away and acted as if the entire thing hadn't happened. The story doesn't quite end there though. The Undertaker revealed on Chavo Guerrero's podcast that later that night, the crazy fan found the hotel the Undertaker was at and knocked on the door. The hotel staff got the woman out of there and nothing too serious happened, but this lady has to be one of the craziest wrestling fans ever. Female fans didn't just jump the barricade at WWE shows. In 1995, at WCW's Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, Macho Man Randy Savage had a match against the Zodiac. Only the ring were often attacked. On a 2014 episode of SmackDown, The Shield were kicking things off. Just as Seth Rollins began talking, a woman in a pink shirt who was sitting near the stage leapt over the barricade. She ran towards the ring, but security got to her before she could get to the Shield. The female fan was taken away, and she ended up paying for a ticket and missing the entire show. Since SmackDown wasn't airing live, the incident was cut from the show's TV broadcast. Despite the absence of fans at wrestling shows in 2020, we still saw a handful of crazy individuals trying, and in some cases, successfully attacking wrestlers. Back in February, when fans were still in attendance, MJF proved just how good of a heel he is. To close out the episode of Dynamite, Cody Rhodes had to endure 10 lashes or risk forfeiting his match at Revolution. Cody made it through all 10 lashes, but a frustrated MJF kicked Rhodes afterward and immediately ran into the crowd with his bodyguard, Wardlow. The two stopped in front of one of the exits when all of a sudden, a man wearing a black hat charged at MJF. Wardlow and MJF fought back and were able to easily subdue the attacker, but it probably helped that they had the high ground. However, the legitimacy of the attack was questioned, with sources reporting it was actually Frankie Kazarian who went off script. We never saw a clear shot of the man's face, but he was clearly wearing knee pads. But then again, this wouldn't be the first time intruding fans wore wrestling gear. What do you think? Is MJF so heated that a real fan would want to take a shot at him, or was this just part of the show? This next fan attack happened right before the pandemic hit in the small city of Jasper, Alabama. The company, New Era Wrestling, was hosting its second anniversary, which featured a tag team match involving a wrestler named Ace Haven. During the contest, Ace's wife, Amy Haven, who had accompanied him to the ring, began arguing with a woman in the front row. The fan took things way too far and jumped at Amy and took her to the ground. Ace came to his wife's aid, which caused even more fans to get involved in the fight. While the footage abruptly cuts off, it was reported that, eventually, the situation was cleared and the match finished. Like many other attacks, this fan received a lifetime ban for the incident. The past two attacks happened before the pandemic, but this next one happened well after COVID hit. Shortly after allowing fans back to their events, AEW held its third pay-per-view of the year, All Out. While keeping social distancing in mind, Jon Moxley made his entrance through the crowd. One fan seemed to forget about the 6 feet apart rule and charged at the AEW World Champion. Security got to him just in time and took the man to the ground, and eventually escorted him away. It's unclear what the fans' intentions were, but Moxley did comment on the incident and said this.
I don't even think he was trying to attack me. I think he was trying to just celebrate with me, like, yeah, rock and roll, Moxley. Never a good idea.
In 2002, Eddie Guerrero and Rob Van Dam had a series of matches for the Intercontinental title. After trading wins and losses, their final championship bout was going to be in a ladder match in the main event of Raw, which was emanating from Alberta, Canada. After battering and beating each other, both men climbed up the ladder and started battling right below the championship. Once RVD was stunned, Eddie leaped over Mr. Monday Night and slammed him onto the mat. With his opponent out of it, Guerrero climbed back up the ladder, but once he was near the top, a fan in an Edmonton Oilers jersey ran into the ring and pushed the ladder over. Luckily, Eddie Guerrero had the reflexes of a cat and landed safely, and the fan was taken out soon after. According to his book, Eddie thought at first it was Crash Holly doing a run-in. While all fan attacks are scummy, pushing someone off a ladder has to be towards the top of the list. Regardless, both wrestlers continued with the match, which RVD ultimately won. Going back 4 years to 1998, a live edition of WCW Thunder aired from Tallahassee, Florida. During the show, Raven got into the ring and started throwing some shade at Diamond Dallas Page. Not even 30 seconds into the promo, and Raven was yanked out of the ring by a fan who appeared from out of nowhere. Security was there in a flash, and Raven responded with a deathly glare before getting back to business. The fan really threw off the show though, as Raven's mic stopped working and someone had to hand him a new one. I guess this guy was the original Florida man. Ironically, the same thing happened on the following episode of Nitro. Raven had sent his flock to attack DDP, then, from behind, someone in a blue shirt tackled the former ECW star. Though, the man kinda looks like Chris Kanyon, so who knows if this second attack was actually staged. In the end, Raven appears to be okay after both attacks, so I guess that's what really matters. One thing we can learn from this video is fan attacks can happen anywhere in the world. This was made clear in 2013, when WWE was touring South Africa. After defeating Big E Langston, Randy Orton did his signature pose on the ropes. From out of nowhere, someone from the audience got into the center of the ring and low-blowed the Viper. Once he was back to his feet, Orton went straight for the guy, and luckily for the attacker, security got to him first. While the fan was quickly removed from the ring, the Apex Predator did get a kick in that gave the man a black eye. As it turns out, the fan was actually a wrestler himself, named Josie the Wrestling Machine, and he had been planning the attack before arriving at the show. In fact, the man quit his job so he could attend the event, which ended up working out well for him, since he was arrested immediately afterwards. As for Randy Orton, this is what he had to say after the incident.
I sure as hell didn't sell for the guy. I wish I would have kicked him harder in the face. I love the internet.
It's changed the industry, hasn't it?
Oh, strange indeed.
As is tradition, the 2019 Hall of Fame ceremony took place the night before WrestleMania 35. The evening that celebrated wrestling's past was derailed during the introduction of the Hart Foundation. While giving his speech, Bret Hart was tackled by someone from the audience. Security and fellow wrestlers came to Hart's aid in a split second, and the fan was subdued. Despite the chaos and the sea of bodies, the attacker was removed in just a few minutes, and the ceremony returned to normal.